Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I thought it would be fun to talk about miniature agnostic games and ask, can all games be miniature agnostic? A huge thanks to Brutality Skirmish Wargame for sponsoring today's video. Brutality Skirmish Wargame is written by Scott Wainwright, and it's a great versus solo co-op RPG light, any genre, any model game, and you can see it reviewed here on the channel, and you can also watch the battle report to find out how it plays. After doing the battle report and also working on my own game, Weekend Warriors, I've been thinking a lot more about miniature agnostic games, and I've just wondered whether all games could be miniature agnostic. I don't see why they can't. So I thought in this video we could just talk about what miniature agnostic games are, go through some examples, and then just see if we can answer that question. I guess we first have to define what miniature agnostic games are. And basically, miniature agnostic games are games that you can use any models to represent your units, fighters, or characters with. You can use metal miniatures, paper cutouts, Lego, miniatures from your favourite games companies, and even miniatures that have been made by independent game creators. We should also briefly talk about proxies, and this is where you take one model and swap it for another model. You use the rules that are included in the game for that original model and just substitute the model on the tabletop. Follow the rules as normal, but just use that new model. In this example, we've got a Tech Priest Engine Seer, and this is a great looking model, but for me, I don't think it'll fit in with the Catachan army that I'm looking to build. So what I'm doing is swapping that Tech Priest Engine Seer model for this one. This is Ragnir, and I bought this from Forge World, and this is going to fit in a lot better with the look of my army and the vibe I'm going with. I'm going with a similar thing here and replacing the Primaris Psyker with this cool guy, Jokerai Weaponsmith, and he's going to be a psychic orangutan in the Catachan army, which I think will be awesome fun. Now, these are all Games Workshop miniatures, and if you're playing in a tournament or a competitive game of some kind, then you may not be able to do this, and you certainly can't use models from other games. But if you're just playing for fun, you could literally use anything, as long as you make it clear to your opponent what model is representing which character, and they're happy with it. I used to play RPG games quite a lot, and I love Dungeons and Dragons. I was into the 4th edition, but I always liked to make up my own rules and play around with it. But in RPG games like Dungeons and Dragons or homebrew games, miniature agnostic has always been a thing. You would pick a model that represents your character and you use that model, and people could bring all different types to the game and it really didn't matter. You could even use just characters drawn on a piece of paper, which is what Index Card RPG is all about. And I love that game. And this was my first introduction from a channel called Runehammer. And this is the guy who wrote the book. Real fun channel. And this really introduced me to the idea of homebrew and showed me how fun it could be to make up your own games and characters. But with Dungeons and Dragons, anything goes pretty much with the miniatures, and Reaper Miniatures is a great place to pick up all different characters of all different types, and so you can find loads of really cool miniatures on there, and I think a lot of people have heard of these already and really popular. So for RPGs, it's pretty normal to be miniature agnostic, and it's getting more so now with skirmish games, and a lot of creators are coming up with games that have a great rule set, and you can use any miniatures with it, and then you can just dive into the collection you've already got, which makes it really easy and cheap to access the games. I thought I could go through a few examples now and then just show you some different games that are miniature agnostic that I've played and that I really enjoy, and then it'd be great if you could add some in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite miniature agnostic game is, and also recommend some for us all to try so we can grow the hobby together and find new creators, new authors, and even new model makers. If you know anyone who makes cool models, add that down there too. Let's start with Brutality, which is the sponsor of today's video and a perfect game that represents miniature agnostics. And in the battle report I did recently, I made up 2 different warbands. I got my son to help me, and he built the first warband and chose these models from the collection. I put together this second one, and you can see it's a real mix. You've got some Age of Sigmar in there, you've got some Orcs, some Krieg, and some Space Wolves. So a real eclectic mix of miniatures that all came together and really worked with the theme of brutality. So the way the book was designed really encouraged you to use totally different miniatures, bring them all together. It just worked so well. Then you combine that with some terrain and you've got a complete mix that on the surface might look like it won't work, but really is great fun to play. Here we've got some modern scenery. This is the industrial terrain set by War Cradle. So we've got that terrain, then we've got futuristic and fantasy miniatures all mixed together and playing in this world, all under the story that comes with Brutality. In my own game, Weekend Warriors, I show you how you can use any kind of miniature as well, including paper drawings, but anything at all really goes. And again, combining that with terrain from different game creators, from individual companies, or even making your own out of cardboard and junk. There's just loads of options, and really, you're just limited by your imagination. Next, we've got Rain in Hell by Adam Loper and Vince Venturella. And this is a real fun game that encourages you to put together your own warband of demons. So this is really fun to play as well. And again, just builds on that creativity. You know, you're not just taking a model that the game tells you have to use. You can choose anything you like. And I think Demons of Khorne would be like the obvious choice for this. But you can use anything, and really just twisting it into the rules and making it work is all part of the fun. Burrows and Badgers is another great skirmish game. This time it's anthropomorphic animals, and these are really cool. They do their own line. Michael Lovejoy does his own line of miniatures, but you don't have to use them. You can use anything. And I like to use the Northumbrian Tin Soldier models, who are one of my favourite companies. They do some awesome models, including these Foggy Peak Goblingtons, which I think are fantastic. And again, it's combining different things. You've got someone who's created the game, you've got battle systems terrain here, and then you've got another creator who's made the models, and putting those three together and making it work really is great fun. You also save a load of money. You buy one set of terrain and you can use it in all different games. Like this fantasy terrain can be great for Warcry. You could use it in Last Days, a zombie apocalypse, Burrows and Badgers, Middle-earth, Age of Sigmar and Dungeons and Dragons. So I think having that flexibility really makes you use your terrain a lot more and get good value for money from it. I made a video a little while back going through lots of different games that I've got in the collection, including some others like Gasland, Mercs, Infinity and Last Days by Ash Barker. And that's a really cool game as well. And that's one that you can use models with from any game. And I've got an idea. I bought the Zombicide box set to get loads of zombies from it, and then picked up a few metal miniatures from some independent creators. And then that's going to be a real nice set of models to have for that Last Days game. This doesn't just apply to independent games either. Some of the big games like Warhammer 40,000, you could do the same thing. You could use any models you like as long as your opponent's happy and you're not playing any official competitive games. And you can even use vectors like I put together here and play on your screen and just move them around. So you really have got lots of flexibility with what you can do. Once you've got the rule set, you can use anything you like for it. Even pictures of the actual models, you could cut them out and print them and then cut them out, put them on some little stands and use those on the tabletop if you wanted to. A lot of people are taking their Warhammer collection and using it in one-page rules, and this is a real fun way as well. You could join their Patreon where they also do models. A lot of the games are free to download. Once you've got the rules, you can then use any models you like, so you can use models from one-page rules, print them off yourself by getting the files from them, order the actual printed miniatures, or use your existing collection of Warhammer 40,000. And it could work the opposite way. If you like the Warhammer 40,000 rules but prefer the miniatures from one-page rules, you could use the one-page rules miniatures in a Warhammer 40,000 game. So it works however you like, and I think as long as your opponent's happy and you've got a fun game to play, I don't think there's any harm in mixing it up however you like. Since I started the channel and I've been trying out lots of different games and reading different rule sets, it's been really fun to see how independent writers put together books, how the big companies do it, and then also how I wrote my own book, how I enjoy doing that by taking little bits from different games that I enjoyed, melding it all together into a system that worked for me. I also think that miniature agnostic games are great for people who just like to collect models that they like. And so if you've got a collection of all random models from different companies, and then you find a rule set that appeals to you, you can just dive in and start using all those models that you've maybe built and painted, but don't really have a game to use them in. As an author of a game book, I think it's really exciting to have this miniature agnostic option because it really makes the barrier to entry really easy. If you want to design a game, you don't have to come up with the characters, you don't have to design the miniatures. You just come together with either a story and a narrative for your game and then a rule set that you like. It also makes it cheap for people who like to play different games because they can just pick up a PDF from Wargame Vault of the different game rules and then try it out with what they've got. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to invest in the game to get started. You can just use everything you already have, get playing straight away. So there's no messing around with having to have a specific model for a specific unit or character. This also makes it really interesting for model creators, whether they make them by hand or if they do them digitally and then sell the files or 3D print the miniatures. And this is where Etsy comes in. You can pick up some fantastic models on Etsy, and I've bought a few now and I've been going there quite often to check out different models. These Kenkus are so cool. I bought one of them for my Bard and he's going to feature in my Weekend Warriors game a lot. I think it could be easy to think of miniature agnostic games and then put them with independent model creators. But I don't think we should forget the big companies like Games Workshop. I love the models. I love the whole lore and the background and everything that comes with it. Having the Warhammer community site that keeps updating articles every day is really fun. And there's no reason why you couldn't take the models you like from Games Workshop, take the lore as well, but apply it to a different rule set. And that's what I've done with Kill Team. I play my Weekend Warrior rule set now for Kill Team, but I use the Kill Team models, the terrain, and the lore and everything. And so I let that influence how I design the characters for the models that come with that game. My all-time favourite, though, are the Corvus Cabal, and this is really what got me into Warcry and really why I started the channel. I loved this so much. I got this set and then I picked up some of the others, including the Iron Golem and the Untamed Beasts, and never looked back. So having these models now, I can use them in lots of different games, and so I'm not just limited to playing them in Warcry. There we go, that's my little ramble through the world of miniature agnostics, and I guess now we can ask, can any game be miniature agnostic? And I think I can safely say that yes, it can. I think you can use any models from any system and apply them to a rule set that you like, and as long as your opponent's happy, that's the main thing, and you're not playing anything competitive then or official, then I think you can do anything you like as long as you have fun. That's the main thing for me with the hobby. I love it. I love making the models, I love making terrain, and I love coming up with different rules and then doing homebrews and things like that. It's great fun. So I think as long as you're enjoying yourself and everyone has a good time, that's all that matters. I'd love to know what you think about miniature agnostic games, and don't forget to add your favourite ones in the comment section below. It'd be great if we can share some different ones and hopefully get some attention onto these independent creators as well, so they can get some sales and things like that and help them develop more games and more rules for us all to play and enjoy. One of those games is Brutality the Skirmish Wargame by Scott Wainwright. I'd love it if you checked it out, and I'll put some links in the description and comments below. Don't forget the Brutality battle reports up on the channel and the book review if you'd like to see it. And here's a shameless plug for my own game. Why not? It's Weekend Warriors, available at Wargame Vault, and you can download it as a PDF or order it as a printed book. And if you order the printed book, you get the PDF for free. You can also pick it up on Amazon. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like if you did like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.